You know, folks, we talk a lot about addiction on this show, and it's not just about the big ones like drugs and alcohol. Addiction can take many forms, and it can take a serious toll on our lives. It can rob us of our health, our relationships, our jobs, our self-respect. The list goes on and on. Today, we're counting down the 5 worst addictions you need to know about. We're going to dig deep into what makes these addictions so destructive and why it's so hard to break free. But, and this is a big but, we're also going to talk about hope, because no matter how bad things may seem, there's always a way out. Remember, folks, you are not alone. Let's talk about drug addiction. This one's a real heartbreaker. We're talking about everything from prescription painkillers to heroin to meth. These substances hijack the brain's reward system, flooding it with dopamine and creating a powerful craving that's hard to resist. And the consequences, they can be absolutely devastating. We're talking about serious health problems like heart disease, liver damage, and HIV/AIDS, not to mention the risk of overdose, which can be fatal. But it's not just about the physical toll. Drug addiction tears families apart. It leads to job loss, financial ruin, and a loss of self-respect. It's a vicious cycle that can be incredibly difficult to break. But here's the thing. Recovery is possible. It takes courage, it takes support, and it takes time, but it's possible. Now let's talk about alcohol. It's legal, it's socially acceptable, but don't let that fool you. Alcohol is a dangerous drug, and it can be just as addictive as heroin or cocaine. Think about it. How many times have you heard someone say, "I need a drink after the day I've had"? That's how it starts. It's a way to relax, to unwind, to numb the pain. But over time, the body builds up a tolerance, and you need more and more to get the same effect. And before you know it, you're caught in a vicious cycle of dependence. You're drinking to feel normal, to function, to get through the day, and the consequences can be just as severe as with any other drug. We're talking about liver damage, heart disease, increased risk of cancer, and a whole host of other health problems, not to mention the increased risk of accidents, violence, and suicide. Don't underestimate the power of alcohol. Chapter 3. Gambling, the house always wins. Gambling addiction. This one's often called the hidden addiction because it doesn't involve any substances. But let me tell you, it's just as real and just as destructive as any other addiction. People get hooked on the rush, the excitement, the possibility of winning big. They chase that high, but the house always wins in the end, and the losses can be staggering. We're not just talking about money here, folks. We're talking about homes, families, and lives. Gambling addiction can lead to financial ruin, bankruptcy, even criminal activity. It can destroy relationships, careers, and self-esteem. And the worst part is it's often hidden in plain sight. People with gambling addictions are masters at hiding their problem, often until it's too late. Chapter 4. Internet addiction, the digital drug. Now let's talk about a growing problem, especially in this day and age, internet addiction. We're talking about excessive use of social media, online gaming, pornography, you name it. The internet can be a wonderful tool, but it can also be incredibly addictive. It's designed to keep us engaged, to keep us coming back for more, and for some people it takes over their lives. They spend hours online, neglecting their responsibilities, withdrawing from real-life relationships, and isolating themselves in the digital world. And it can have serious consequences for their mental and physical health. We are talking about sleep deprivation, eye strain, carpal tunnel syndrome, anxiety, depression, and social isolation. Chapter 5. Smoking, a breathtaking addiction. Finally, let's talk about smoking. We all know it's bad for us. We've seen the warnings on the cigarette packs. We've heard it from our doctors. But nicotine is a powerful drug, and it's incredibly addictive. Smoking is the leading cause of preventable death worldwide. It causes lung cancer, heart disease, stroke, emphysema, and a whole host of other health problems. And it doesn't just affect the smoker. Secondhand smoke is dangerous for everyone around them, especially children. Quitting smoking is one of the best things you can do for your health. But it's not easy. It takes commitment, willpower, and often professional help. But it's worth it. Look, we've covered a lot of ground today, and it might seem overwhelming. But I want you to remember one thing. There is hope. If you or someone you know is struggling with any of these addictions, don't hesitate to seek help. Remember, it's never too late to make a change. There are resources available, there are people who care, And there is a way out. It takes courage to admit you have a problem, but it's the first step on the road to recovery. Don't wait until it's too late. Reach out, get help, and start living the life you deserve.